Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the Cisco Catalyst SD-WAN Manager API to get a list of devices with Python requests. Okay, so here we are importing the libraries, so requests for handling the API or for making API calls, right? And URL lib3, this is just to ignore the SSL warnings because Sandbox, particularly this one, is using a self-signed certificates. So here we are just defining the Sandbox credentials. So this is the host, the main URL, right? Or the base URL, the username, and the password. And so next we create a requests session. And that's how you do it. So requests, this is the module, right? That session and set our parentheses. And we assign this expression to a variable called session. Okay. And the main step one is actually log in and get JSession ID. So this is the login URL, right? This is an F string. So host, which is this, and then this J underscore security underscore check. Payload, so this is a dictionary, right? So username, which is J username, and password, J password. So we are calling the post method on the session object, right? So this is the login URL, which is this URL, right? Plus the host, this one. And then data, which is the dictionary. Payload is dictionary. Verify false. This is just to not verify the certificates. Okay, and here, if the response code or if the status code is not 200 or this JSON ID is not in the session cookies, we say login failed. But if the response status or the status code is 200 and the J session ID is in session cookies, we say print, and then we get the J session ID. And we will see that particular hash or ID later when we run the code. And then we see, we print login successfully. And the next step, or step 2, is retrieve a list of devices. So this is the URL or device says URL, right? So host plus the data service and device. And then we make a get call and we pass the devices underscore URL, and then we say verify false. And then we store the value or the result of this expression to a variable called resp for response. And same, so if the status code is not 200, we say failed to retrieve devices. And then if it's 200, and I expect that it's going to be 200, status code will be 200, we print or we convert the output into a dictionary devices. Okay, and then for you to see or view all the top level keys in the JSON response, you can actually use the keys method on the devices dictionary. Yeah, this is the dictionary, if I'm not mistaken. Type, yeah, you can also see that later. And then we say retrieve devices, and we have a for loop here. So D stands for devices. We are accessing the contents of the data key, right? Yeah, and the data key, we look for host name, or we print the host name and the device ID. Okay, let me go ahead and run the script. Okay, login failed. So this part ran because it didn't get the status code 200, or the J session ID is not in session.cookies. Let me try to run it again. Okay, we see the session ID, which is this. So it's logged in successfully. Looks like it's gonna work. Yeah, so it's a devices is a dictionary because of this. And then we just call the keys method on the devices dictionary. That's why we see this part here. And then we retrieve devices, right? So the host name, we get the host name, or we access the host name, and then the device ID. That's why we see the host names, vmanage, vsmart, vbon, and the IP addresses. All right, so that's how you can use the SD-WAN or the Cisco Catalyst SD-WAN Manager API to get a list of devices with Python requests. All right, so hopefully you found this video useful. If you did, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.